$25 million in offshore drilling allowance? Sure, we can get $25 million in an offshore drilling allowance, but guess what? Guess what? The deficit's billions. So unless you're looking at the income tax, unless you're looking at the sales tax, you're not going to close the gap. It's not going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, we have a federal judge that says, make these payments. And if you don't make the payments, you're going to be held in contempt. The state is going to be held in contempt of court. The federal judge has absolutely no idea what our finances are. Guess what? At the federal level, they have a printing press so that her paycheck gets paid every month or week or however long she gets paid. We're operating on continuing appropriations, on consent orders, on court orders. Guess what? We had a state fair. We had a state fair, and we had a state fair because the budget for the state fair is contained in the appropriation for the Department of Agriculture. Oh, wait a minute. We don't have an appropriation for the Department of Agriculture, but we have a state fair. We can't make child payments, but we have a state fair. Does anybody see the incongruity in that? Yeah, and you can say yes, but you know what? You know what? We are all at fault. We are complicit in this problem. We are complicit in this problem. We are enablers of our leaders. I have had any number of discussions with colleagues on my side of the aisle, on the Democrat side of the aisle, and they say, why? Why? There is a middle ground. There is a middle ground. Now, we're not going to get all the money that my friend from McHenry County thinks we're going to get simply by closing loopholes. It's going to take revenue. That's taxes for those who don't like the term revenue. But you know, it's fair to say there's a middle ground on some of these other issues as well. There's a middle ground on prevailing wage. There's a middle ground on project labor agreements. And we don't have to eviscerate collective bargaining to get to the middle ground. The state legislatures are leader-driven institutions. They are leader-driven institutions. Nothing happens unless the leader moves legislation through the process. Nothing happens unless the governor says, I'm willing to sign the legislation. So knowing that, let me say this. Governor Rauner, Speaker Madigan, President Cullerton, Leaders Radonio and Durkin, I implore you, I beseech you, I beg you, stop this madness. The great state, our great state of Illinois, this land of Lincoln, is going to end up where we were 4 and 5 and 6 years ago with $7, $8, $9 billion of back bills that we can't pay because you know what? I'm not a very bright guy, but I know this. We're going to bring in $32 billion, maybe $32.5, with the tax structure that we have now. We are on autopilot, and no one disagrees that we are not going to spend any less at the current rate than $38 billion. That's $5 billion in difference. What are you going to do when the money runs out? I don't care what a federal judge says. If the comptroller doesn't have the money in the account, they can't send out the check. Our state, and we sit here, our state is being driven to the brink of a financial abyss, and we sit here and watch it happen. It's got to stop. Thank you.